Hello, today we're going to be talking about King Henry VIII and his many wives. First, we're going to talk about King Henry VIII himself. He was born in 1491 and lived till 1547. He was a part of the giant dynasty at the time, the Tudor dynasty, and he actually took the throne in 1509. His first wife, Catherine of Aragon, was actually his older brother's widow. So King Henry had an older brother who passed away, and King Henry took on his older brother's widow, Catherine of Aragon. They were married for about 20 years. King Henry wanted nothing more than to have a son to carry on the Tudor namesake and to carry on the legacy. Well, Catherine of Aragon could not produce a male heir for him. She had many stillbirths. She had a daughter named Mary, and she even did have a son, but he died at 7 weeks. No son equaled a big problem for King Henry. Because of this, Henry wanted a divorce. But while under the Pope and the Holy Roman Empire, a divorce was not possible. The Pope would not allow it. So, King Henry took it upon himself to leave the Pope and the Holy Roman Empire altogether and declared himself the head of the Church of England. This led to the English Reformation and the establishment of the Anglican Church, which broke away from the authority of the Pope. So now, with King Henry being the head of the Church of England, he could do whatever he wanted, however he wanted. Because of this, while in the process of getting the divorce, or it's what really sped the divorce along, King Henry fell in love with one of Catherine of Aragon's ladies-in-waiting, Anne Boleyn. Himself and Anne Boleyn were married in 1533, but unfortunately, Anne Boleyn could also produce no male heir. She did, however, have a daughter named Elizabeth I, who we know to go on to take the throne, but at the time this was not important enough for King Henry. Altogether, Anne Boleyn was accused of adultery and treason and was executed in 1536. Days after Anne Boleyn's execution, Henry married Jane Seymour in 1536. Jane Seymour did produce a male heir, Edward VI. However, Jane died soon after the childbirth, so this marriage was also over. Henry went on to marry 3 more times. He married Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard, and Catherine Parr. His marriage of Anne of Cleves died through annulment because, story goes, King Henry saw a portrait of Anne of Cleves, and that is what drew him to her and reached out to her via messenger or letters, and they agreed to get married and was in the process of it. But when they met in person, King Henry said he was deceived and she was not as captivating as her portraits made her out to be, so he had their marriage annulled. He then went on to marry Catherine Howard, who he also had executed on the grounds of adultery and treason, and then he married Catherine Parr, who stayed with King Henry until his death. King Henry VIII died in 1547. He was succeeded by his son, Edward VI, but Edward also died in 1553. After this, Anne Boleyn's daughter, Elizabeth, took the throne. Actually, the Tudor dynasty ended with Elizabeth I, so it is quite comical to think that King Henry went through all of this trouble to keep his namesake, and it ended anyways with his children, through a daughter, no less.